Welcome to Kharis Tutorials. I will be showing us 2 different ways to make a female pant. I am Simeon Grace. If you are yet to subscribe to the channel, do that right away. Remember to click the bell as well to get notified anytime I upload a new video. All you need is your fabric, your tape rule, your scissors, and your measurement. So let's move to the cutting tape. So this is going to be the first one, and we are working with the measurements: length 36, the waist 28, hip 36, upper thigh 22, lower thigh 16, and ankle is 14 inches. Now the waist and the hip measurements, we are going to add 4 and divide it by 4, which is the same as the measurement divided by 4 plus 1. So this is going to give us 8, and this will give us 10. Now the upper thigh, lower thigh, and the ankle will be plus 2 divided by 2, and that's because it's just 1 leg each. So this will give us 12, this will give us 9, and this will give us 8 inches. Another thing to consider is the crotch length. To get that, we'll be using the hip plus 4 divided by 4, or hip divided by 4 plus 1. It's still the same thing, and we'll get 10 inches. Also, we need the crotch ease at the crotch point. At that crotch point, the ease measurement is going to enable us separate our leg, move our legs freely. So that we can use 2.5 for a small size, 3 or 3.5 for medium size, and 4 inches for big sizes. Now for this particular measurement, we'll be using 3 inches. The 3 inches will be added to the hip measurement of 10, and that will give us 13 inches. So we need the 13 inches as the crotch point, while the 10 inches is the crotch length. Now the length is 36 inches. We are going to add 2 inches to that to give us 38 inches. Now here's my 38 inches, but because we are still going to add band of extra 2 inches to the trouser, we are going to subtract here at the top. It is going to be -2, so that the band will replace the 2 inches. And if you do not want your band to be as wide as 2 inches, you can reduce to 1.5. So here's my 1.5 inches and my seam allowance of about ½ an inch. That means I'm taking out 1 inch. But here at the base, I still maintain my 38 inches, so that the 2 inches that is extra will be used to fold in the base. Now I am going to create a border line, so I can start all my measurements from that point. Mind you, this is not assigned to any measurements. Just rule it out, and all measurements start from there. Now we have the crotch point. Remember, all our measurements is -1. So we have the crotch point of 10 inches. The crotch length of 10 inches. So here we are going to be taking 10 inches, which is the hip measurement from the top. It's going to be 10, and here being the crotch point, the 3 inches extra is going to take effect. So it's now 13 inches. Then we move to the upper thigh. The upper thigh measurement is 12 inches. So for you to take your upper thigh measurement, you need to come down by 2 to 3 inches from the crotch point. Come down for like 2 to 3 inches to take the upper thigh, which is 12 inches. Then you also need to get the distance. Here is the upper thigh. You need to get the distance between the upper thigh and the lower thigh. So it varies with size, I mean, depending on where you are taking your measurement. So for me now, it's on the point of 8 inches. That's the distance between the upper thigh and the lower thigh, and that the lower thigh now is 9 inches. Also, we need to get the distance between the lower thigh and the ankle. Oftentimes not necessary, but make sure you mark out the extra 2 inches that we added to the length. So that we can take the ankle measurement here, and the ankle now is 8 inches. Now, I am going to create a dot line to connect the point from the crotch, this is the crotch point, to the upper thigh, the lower thigh, and then to the ankle. I think I need to correct this. To the ankle. Now, at the upper thigh here, I am going to come in by 0.5, that's not up to 1 inch, 0.5 inches. While here at the lower thigh, I'll come in by 1 inch. The same thing at the lower, the ankle, I'll come in by 1 inch. Now, whatever measurements that I have taken here, I need to return it to this other side. So here is 1 inch, and I'm going back by 1 inch. 1 inch, so I have to return the 1 inch, and this is 0.5, which I have to return 0.5. Now I'm going to connect this, which is now going to be our original measurement. Same thing here. So remember to cancel this. Now, to get the waist, we are going to start the measurement from the 10 inches here. So I'm just going to measure the waist, which is 8 inches, starting from the 10 inches. Here is my waist of 8 inches. We also need to get the distance between the waist and the hip. Remember your minus 1 inch. The distance for my measurement is 6. You have to get the distance because it varies as well. So I'm connecting from this 8 to this 6 inches, which is the hip measurement. Then from here, I am connecting to the upper thigh measurements, like this. Then the crotch area, this is a straight line. And then we connect from the crotch point, like this. Then another better way you can do this is just create your straight line first. Then from this point, you take your 1.5 inches. So you can mark it out like this. Now here's the front. To get the back, all you need to do is mark out 1 inch on the crotch area. 1 inch. Till you get to the crotch point. So this is the front. I'm trying to carve out the back now. Then you connect. And you have to find your way from the crotch point back to your upper thigh measurement. So this is for the back. Then another thing that we are going to do for the front. Here is the front and here is the back. Okay, not done with the back. So also for the back, we need to For the back now, we need to go up by 1 inch. Here at the crotch area, so we have to go up by 1 inch and connect to the waist measurement like this. That is for the back. While for the front pattern, from the crotch area here, we need to come down by 2 inches. Now this is going to eradicate any form of bulge or excess around the crotch area. So the 2 inches we are connecting to the waist. Now if we are going to cut, here is going to be the front pattern. The front pattern goes like this. Trace it out. Then on this point, here is our crotch point. Then this is our normal. Now this is, we are eradicating this because we've added to it. So from this point, it goes like this. Then on this line, straight down to the base. Remember, it is to the base of our 2 inches that was added. All right. While cutting for the back, this is the back, this is the back. So we are going to start like the side still remains the same, and then we go up from the waist, we go up by 1 inch, and then the 1 inch that takes effect here at the crotch area, then we find our way back to the upper thigh, then back to the normal measurement that we took for the front. So that's for the back. Now we move to the second method, and still working with the same measurements. Length is 36, the hip measurement is 36, the waist is 28, we have the upper thigh 22, the lower thigh 16, while the ankle is 14. Now to the length, I'll be adding 2 inches to give us 38, and the hip is +4 divided by 4, and that will give us 10 inches. So this is the same as hip divided by 4 plus 1. The same thing with the waist measurement, +4 divided by 4, and this will give us 28, 4, 32, that's 8. Then we have the upper thigh, the lower thigh, and the ankle. This is going to be +2 divided by 2, and that's because we have each leg. So 22 plus 2, 24 divided by 2, 12. 16 plus 2, that's 18, divided by 2 is 9. And 14 plus 2, 16 divided by 2 is 8 inches. All right, now to get the crotch length, we're going to use this formula, which is hip divided by 4 plus 1. It's still the same as hip plus 4 divided by 4, and that will be what? That's 10 inches. That's our crotch length. Also, we need ease. That's more like an extension at the crotch point, so as to separate our legs. So for the ease, you can always work depending on the size of the person you're working with. You can go with 2.5 or 3 or 3.5, and for plus size you can go for 4 inches. So for this measurement, this is just a medium size measurement, like size 8. So we'll go for 3 inches for the ease, which means the crotch point now, the measurements will be hip plus 4 divided by 4, which is 10, plus 3 inches, and that will give us 13. So we are working with this 13, We are working with 10 inches. Now let's move on. First, I am going to create my borderline just to have an edge. Now we are going to take the length, which is now 38 inches. Here's 38. We said the crotch length is 10 inches. So here is our 10 inches, which is the crotch length. Now, we are going to work with the hip measurement first, starting from the edge. And the hip measurement is 10 inches. So I'll be taking 10 inches from this line. I'll take my 10 inches. I'll take 10. And on the crotch point, here we say the crotch point, it is now 10 plus 3, which is now 13 inches. So to the very end, we are going to mark out the midpoint of 13 inches, and the midpoint is 6.5. So I'll mark out that 6.5 till I get to the base. Make sure you have 13 inches on the line. Here is my 13 inches. 6.5. Having done that, we need to get the upper thigh. The upper thigh measurement is 12 inches. Now 12 inches will give us divided by 2 will give us 6. I mean, what I'm trying to say is on this midpoint, okay, let me rule it out first. So to take the upper thigh, that which is 12, we have to place the tape at the middle point, that's 6 inches, so that we can mark 12 inches from here and then here. So our 12 inches begins from, this is my 12 inches to stop here. Then you can as well get the distance. Let me mark it out. So you can get the distance between your upper thigh and the lower thigh, and that will be determined by wherever you took the measurement on the person. From the upper thigh, make sure you get the distance to the lower thigh before you take the measurement. So for me now, it is 8 inches. Here is the 8 inches, and the lower thigh measurement is 9. So I'm going to place the tape. The midpoint is 4.5. So here is my 4.5. I'll mark it out like this. 9 inches is what I'm marking out on the other side. Here's my 9 inches. Remember, we added 2 inches to this. So I'm taking out the 2 inches. The lower thigh, the ankle is 8 inches. So the midpoint is 4. Here is my 4. So I can mark it out, and 8 inches is what I'm marking out here. So the same goes straight down. Now, to get the waist measurement, we are going to take the measurement from our 10 inches. From the waist now, which is 8 inches, I'm going to connect to the 6 inches, which is the hip, just like this. Then, from the hip, I'm going to connect to the upper thigh. From the upper thigh to the lower thigh. Then the lower thigh to the ankle. We are going to connect as well the 10 inches, which is the hip line. Then here is the crotch point, so we are going to curve it out. To do this, another easier way is you bring it down straight, then you measure 1.5 inches. From this point, you measure 1.5 inches to get the curve very well. So we are going to connect from the crotch point to the upper thigh, then to the lower thigh, and to the ankle. So if you have your ruler or your curve, you can use it to bring out the shape. It will be easier for you to do that. Now we are going to cut it out. Now here is the front. This is what it looks like. I'll be placing this now to cut the back. So for the back, it's still just like we did earlier. All we need to do is from the crotch point, measure 1 inch, 1 inch, 1 inch, 1 inch. Then we also go up here by 1 inch. So we connect. Now from the crotch point, we have to find our way back to the upper thigh measurement, then to the base. While we connect from this 1 inch to, you can use your ruler please. I think my hand is not that straight. So we're going to connect from that same 1 inch to the waist measurement like this. So this is going to be the back. We can now place this on our fabric to cut. Here is the front part, and the front has been placed on the back. You can see the outcome now after adding the 1 inch. Now the next thing is the pocket mouth, which I am going to draft out here. And to do that, you can go with any design of your pocket mouth. So I am going with the measurement of 2 inches as the width and the depth of 5.5 inches. That's my choice. You can decide to go for 2.5 and 4 or 3 by 4. Just go with any measurement of your choice. So this is 2 by 5.5, and this is the shape that I want for the pocket, which is going to affect the front only. Now to cut the pocket itself, the basic measurement for your pocket is 14 inches width, 14 inches length, which can also be reduced. So for me, I am reducing it to 12 by 12 So folded will be 6. That's 6 by 12 inches. So it's folded now. That is 6 by 12 inches. You can as well reduce it if you want to. And I'll be cutting 2 of this. So back to the front, we have to open it up. This is the front part of my trouser. The front facing front. That's how I'm going to place it. Here's the front, here's the front. So you have to place the front facing the front of the fabric. Then I'm going to place my material, the front part of the trouser. So I'll be tracing out exactly what I have on the trouser itself. Now, by the time I open it up, it's going to be one side for the front. One side to the right hand side and the other one to the left hand side. That's how it's going to be. So now we're going to move to cutting the band. So to cut the band, is just a strip of fabric that's been folded into 2. And the folding has to do with your desired measurement. You can decide you want the band to be wider than this. For me, this is about 1.75 inches. The waist measurement is 28 inches, so I make this 30 inches because of my allowance. So now we are moving to the joining. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, click the subscribe button. You also need to turn on your notification bell to get notified each time I upload a new video. For the front part, all we need to do is place the pockets. Here's the shape of our pocket. That is, after I have ironed my stay, I'll be working with a soft stay here, a gum stay. So I'm going to iron it on the main fabric and also on the pocket mouth, and I'm going to join that of the right hand side and that of the left hand side. Now after that is done, also there's a little design which I am going to add to the front part of my trouser, more like a dart manipulation. Here we took 13 inches, remember from our measurement it was 13 inches, while the midpoint is 6.5. So on that 6.5, I am going to hold a dart straight down. It's still going to be the same measurement straight down, and to get that measurement you can just place your pattern so you can just place your pattern and then you mark it out. First you can use like a pin or something. Just make sure you mark it out, or if you use your chalk to paint the line, then place it on your fabric and dust it on the fabric so that the chalk will appear on the fabric in order to get a straight line. And I am going to hold the dart on the front part. It's going to form a kind of design to my trouser. Now if you're going to be doing that, it means while cutting, remember to add like 0.5 inches to the cutting measurement. It still will not affect it anyways if you do not remember to add, because it's just a tiny joining, just more like a dart holding on both front the front part of the trouser. So let's go and do that first. Now for the front, like I said, I placed my pockets and I have joined. So all you need to do is turn it on the outside, just like this, so that we can come back to join the pockets itself. Starting from this point, we're going to join the pocket all the way. The same thing is what we're going to do to the the left hand side. That's I have done already. This is what I have, so that your pocket can come out like this already. Now, having done that, I am going to do that of the left hand side as well. Also, the darts, you can see how it is. It's just for you to hold your fabric and run a straight seam, which is not compulsory anyway. Now the next thing we are going to do is, that is after joining the pocket, here on the back we're going to leave about 6 inches because of the band that will still be added. So you leave the 6 inches and then you start your joining from your 6 inches all the way to the crotch point. And the next thing I'm going to do after that is place the front and the back together so we can bring out the shape from the side. So I'm going to place it like this, bringing the edges here together. I'm going to bring out the waist measurement and also the hip measurement. Now the waist measurement is 28 inches divided by 2 will be 14. So I'm going to measure to get my 14 inches. Here now I have 16 inches, and it means I'll be taking 1 inch on the left and 1 inch on the right hand side to get my 14 inches. The same rule applies to the hip measurement. Hip divided by 2, hip 36 divided by 2 is 19. So here, hip divided by 2 is 36 divided by 2 is 18 inches. So here I have about 21 inches, almost 21. So that means I'll be taking 1.5 and 1.5 inches on the other side as well. Then from there, I am going to just continue my sewing all the way to the base of the trouser. So I am going to do that, then we'll come back for the next thing. Now that we have joined the sides, we are left with joining the base. We are going to fold in the base, and that's on the inside. Now that we've joined the sides, the next thing to do is to fold in the base, and then we're going to bring out the shape. Starting from the base, we're going to bring out the ankle measurement divided by 2, the lower thigh divided by 2, the upper thigh divided by 2. You bring it to the crotch point, then same to the other side. After that is being done, here is our band, which we are going to be joining to the waist, starting from one end to the other end. But first you have to make sure you weave or you fold it in. You join this so that you can close it up, or you weave just like what we have here. So you're going to join like that to the waist parts of the trouser. So after that is done, the last thing to do is to fix our zipper. So I am going to do mine, then I'll come back to show us the results. Do not forget to click the subscribe button if you're yet to do that. And you can also leave your questions here in the comment section. I'll be waiting for you.